Greetings, hello there. My name's Milo. I'm playing games all this year about heroines. That's the idea. And this month in particular is Namco-vember, because I said so. I figured after last week playing Wonder Momo, I would, play some other Namco games, because there's a lot of, there's several good heroines in their history. Now, if I can just get set up here. Yeah, so today we're playing a game starring one of the very first heroines of gaming, Ms. Pac-Man. And hello, Gibbon, welcome. Oh gosh, I should be reading this. In the PlayStation version, this is all voiceover, I'm trying to get my stream up. Here it is, finally. Okay, next to me. Okay. Yeah, blah 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 blah. So Professor Pac is here. He's our support character. Some bad stuff is happening. Magic gems, etc. I think there's an evil witch who has, yep, there you go, kidnapped the princess. Blah blah blah. Typical stuff. But you know, this time we're not playing as a man rescuing the princess. We're playing as Ms. Pac-Man, who is a woman. I don't know what the princess is like actually. Was she in that cutscene? Who knows? So yeah, this is the 64 version, which I chose because I guess the file size was small. But also, you know, I had a 64 growing up, and it's nostalgic for me. And I want to see, what they did with it. That track mode is quite short demo. Yeah, it doesn't last very long. Anyway, let's get started, because I don't know, maybe we'll get through the whole thing. A long play that I saw was about 2 hours long, but as I've discussed before, I am much less efficient than a long play, because long plays are practiced. As my tag will indicate on Twitch, I do not practice. It's a first playthrough, as well as a casual playthrough, so I'm not too concerned. Anyway, there's 4 worlds with 4 gems. We're using a magic science device to go to different places in Pac World, which I guess is the planet we live on. And there's ghosts, of course. Oh, there's the witch. Good. Mesmeralda. Okay. Nice pun. Oh no, Professor Pac. What's going on? So yeah, there was originally like silly voiceovers for all this. The N64 version is a port. The PlayStation one's the original release. Okay, Cleopatra. There's going to be a lot of cool puns. Oh, Rumble Pack support. Fantastic. I, of course, had a Rumble Pack thanks to Lilac Wars, which came bundled with one, famously. So, the name of the Egypt region in... the Egypt stand-in region in Pac-World is Cleopatra, which is a pun on Cleopatra, one of the few female pharaohs of ancient Egypt, along with Nefertiti and Hatshepsut, and I think there was one more, but I don't remember her name. Hi, it is me, Professor Pac. Well, not really me. This is a hologram of me. Whenever you see my image, just come over and chat, and I will help you. You just picked up my latest invention, the Pac-dot radar. See a new radar display on top of the screen? The little yellow dots show where the Pac dots are. Cool, huh? Have fun, Ms. Pac-Man. Nice. So, what I find strange about Ms. Pac-Man is that she's married to Pac-Man. That's canon. And she's changed her name to Pac-Man, presumably, but she hasn't changed her title to Mrs. She keeps Ms. I don't know. I'm not going to presume to, understand her choices in name identity, but, whatever. It just seems inconsistent. But who am I to judge? Anyway, in front of you is a movable block. I cannot help you since I am a hologram again. But you can push them to clear your path. You can push them into pits to make nice flat ground. Sometimes the block gets stuck, so use the handy dandy golden reset token to turn the blocks back to where they came from. I see that Ms. Pac-Man is the silent protagonist here. Yeah, given there are so many odd Pac-Man spin-offs, it's true. Pac-Man, of course, very famous game. You will probably have heard of it. A very early arcade game, and it's a maze, like single-screen maze type thing. This device is a popper pad. It boings you into the air. Try running into it from different directions. I invented popper pads. They're great and so easy to clean. I like this guy. He's got some personality. Alright, so if we move this block, then we can jump on top of it and get the strawberry. Great. I don't know if I'll bother getting 100% of stuff in every level, but yeah, why not search for some things here. And yeah, as Gibbon said, there are so many odd Pac-Man spin-offs. The maze gameplay can only sustain a series so far. Pac-Man quickly got spin-offs. Pac-Land was an early one, which was just a platformer. This is an interesting one because it continues the maze-like gameplay, but also has this adventure element. So it's as if you're running around a maze, but you know you've got objectives within it, and it's all spread out and scrolling and stuff. So it's a way of really modernizing that kind of gameplay and adding, you know, a bunch of extra features to it. Okay, so that ground will slow me down. So yeah, there's a lot of spin-offs. There's the Pac-Man World sub-series, which was sort of contemporaneous with this. Sort of ties into this in ways, I think. Don't quote me on that. Well, the connection that I know of... Okay, so if I get hit by a ghost, I'll just lose a little bit of life there. The connection that I know of is that there was a Game Boy Advance port of this game in 2004. That's 4 years after the original release. That was created by Full Fat Studio. Full Fat, whatever, Inc. And so they did this port, and they also made ports of Pac-Man World 1 and 2 to the Game Boy Advance. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Gibbon saying Courtney streamed Pac-Man 2 a while back, and that was a trip. Yeah, that's kind of a misnomer for the name of the game, really. The localized title was Pac-Man 2, but the original one made clear that it was a weird spin-off, and not just the sequel to Pac-Man, because the gameplay is completely different. It's almost like a virtual pet thing where you are ordering Pac-Man around with a cursor on screen. It's on the Super Nintendo. Oh, so this is what the Pac dots are for. You have to get enough of them to get through these doors. Okay, that's interesting. So we'll grab a few more. What are these pads for? I don't know. Yeah, Pac-Man 2: The New Adventures, it's called in English. But yeah, it's a very strange game. It's like basically an adventure game where you have to do various strange objectives just by clicking on things, and Pac-Man's emotional state comes into it, and yeah, it's really odd. Okay, so the little switch opens the door and moves right. Okay, I would not do that. Esmeralda made these switches. She thought you would not be smart enough to use them, but you are. You're damn right, Professor. Ms. Pac-Man is smart and capable. Let's see, so push this here. Yeah, okay. Oh, no. I've bunged it all up. What have I done? How do I reset this? Oh, there's another token over here. I can't reach that token. Alright, so if I move this one up, and then this one like this. Yeah, so the spin-offs, there's tons of them there. There was a puzzle game one, of course. There's a few interesting ones on the DS. Pack and Roll and Pac Pix. Oops, I walked off the wrong way. Because Ms. Pac-Man has kind of an auto-running sort of thing. She'll stick to the grid, as you can see, just tapping along will move you across one space. And if you're holding a button, she'll keep running, and then you can sort of press another button and she'll move down. Anyway. Yeah, what was Pac-Pix, where you draw things with the stylus. And I don't know, I really should try that one. I've been curious about it. Okay, Just tapping now. Yep. Okay, give me the apple. Don't know what this block is for. I might be able to get more abilities later on and come back to old levels, I don't know. I see that I've missed a fruit. Here's one. Yeah, I've missed one. Or two. Of course, I've played on stream before Pac-Man World Rally, which technically is related to the Pac-Man World sub-series of 3D platformers. So that's just another one of the spin-offs Pac-Man has had as a successful mascot in the gaming industry. What am I doing here? This way. Ah, good. Grab a star to finish the stage. That's the grand tradition. Whoa, boy. That sound is quite garish. Let me know if the sound's okay. It was quite soft coming out of the 64 emulator, so I boosted it a bit. I think the levels are fine. Oh, I got 1 of 4 stars thanks to my score. So there is a score chasing. Sound is fine, thank you. Yeah, there's a score chasing aspect to this game where you can try and do levels better. So that's cool. You can push this yellow TNT crate. Yeah, and that's in keeping with the identity of the series, of course. The score chasing, not the TNT crate. Okay. So I've made contact and it's, yeah, just like Crash Bandicoot. Alright. I like the little jingly music, it's nice. Alright, what's the deal here? If I move that over to that block, I can get the cherry, but I don't really care. After the first level, I think I'm just gonna focus on progress. I think yeah, I think the fruit items are only really for score purposes. Oh, okay. So the switch has made dots appear. Wonderful. Whoopsie. Gibbon's asking, what was the trippy one with abstract Pac-Man stuff? Are you thinking of Pac-Man Championship Edition? And also Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 and also DX? It's been a little sub-series. I think that is what you mean, because... yeah, those are interesting, those ones. Oh, I see. So I push that in there because TNT will only destroy something on the same y-axis plane that it's on. Or I guess z-axis, if you consider it that Pac-Man started as a top-down game. Mummies! Eat the mummies. So of course, yeah, it's Pac-Man, you eat everything, that's the idea. I guess I'll talk about that later, but anyway. Yeah, Pac-Man Championship Edition is really quite interesting. I gave it a go, but it's really building on the maze action gameplay of the very first game in the series. And it didn't quite grab me. Okay, what's all this? Oh, ow. Okay. Fire-breathing sphinxes. But yeah, it looks pretty impressive. It's all neon-colored aesthetic and glowing effects. Get back here, centipede. Yeah, nice chain. Beautiful. Okie dokie, a flying carpet. Oh, I can actually go back in this text. I did invent a magic carpet vacuum cleaner, but it made noise and scared the carpets away. ... I don't think there's any proper grammatical instance in which you would use 2 full stops in a row. It should either be 1 or 3, that's my philosophy. Okay. Oh, right. So we're gonna put down successive doors by pressing the button. Oh, and a pretzel. Oh, that's fun. So the food items in the levels are not just fruits the whole time. We're getting pretzels and other things appearing as well. So I'm going to go back for that just because I love the pretzel. I mean, soft pretzels, of course. Hard pretzels are just too dry. By which I mean the pretzels that you get in a packet from the shops. But a nice big doughy, salty pretzel, warm, freshly baked, German style, I think they can be called. Sometimes you call them bretzels because they're like made of bread. Okay, we need some more dots for that door. And a power pellet counts as a normal dot. Yeah, part of the idea of Championship Edition was to teach you like good techniques for how to play the original Pac-Man by giving you these individual patterns to run through, and when you got through a pattern, another one would appear, and you would go on like that successively. Okay, gotta time it. Now. Cool. Ah, nasty. The little sound clips are just amusing. That almost makes me regret not playing the PlayStation version. Because like I said, there was a lot more room for sound files on the CD format, so I know that the PlayStation version has full voiceover in the intro at least. Okay. Oh yeah, Gibbon also said earlier that he's okay with a direct sequel playing completely differently than its originator, citing examples such as Zelda 2, which was a side-scroller compared to the overhead of Zelda 1. I've been translating a manga to do with Zelda 2 right now, actually, so I've become a bit more familiar with the game. What else? Toe Jam and Earl. Apparently the sequel was different. That was a similar thing. The first one was like a top view kind of dungeon crawler. I think the second one was a platformer, I'm not sure. A side scroller. And in the Final Fantasy series, yeah, that's true. They're all different, but only in terms of the plot. The gameplay's actually, between Final Fantasy 1 and 2, you have some quite different ideas in the gameplay and stuff. The key. Yeah, I like these inventive little maze designs here. It's much more interesting than just running around a labyrinth the way the original Pac-Man game was. Well, it's not really a labyrinth, is it? I just used labyrinth as another way of saying maze. Labyrinths have very different rules to mazes. You can only go one way in them, and you just sort of wander around them. The classic example is the labyrinth at was it Crete, where the Minotaur lived in the Greek myth of Perseus. Not Perseus. I'm making so many mistakes here. Is it Perseus? So Daedalus was at that place, right? I don't know. It's not important. Whatever. Okay, so what's going on here? I want to blow up this block. But then I also want to blow up that other block. How do I get another TNT? So what if I reset now? Okay, so the breakable block stays destroyed when I reset. That's good. That's information that I needed. Oh yeah, Given saying this reminds me of the Frogger reboots in the late 90s in a good way. I agree with that, actually. There was some, yeah, when a company has like a really successful old mascot and then they're like, you know, we have to put something out to capture that nostalgia, to get new audiences interested in it. Step on the switches in the correct order. Great. So I'm thinking trial and error because there's been no indication so far of what it should be. Oh, okay. Cool. Right. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so given saying he likes that generation of reboots, Centipede, Frogger, etc., that tried to keep the core of the game intact like this and weren't really committed to full reinvention like DKC did. That's actually a really good point. So this game, like I said, it does keep a maze-like structure to things, but modernizes it as it adds features like, you know, picking up items and everything I said earlier. Ugh, stupid ghost. Let's get this thing. Ah! See, part of the original Pac-Man was that the ghosts... See how the eyes are running away? Yeah, they would run back to a central point and then the ghosts would respawn. I don't think they're respawning here, which is good. No. So you gotta time it, hit it twice when it's rocking over. That's physics, man. What's going on here? How do I... Oh, I'll push this down. Yeah. And then go around here. Clever. Puzzles. I like puzzles. See, that's something you didn't get in the original Pac-Man. Like I said, it's strictly an action game. Whereas this is turning it into an adventure puzzle game, but with the same sort of formula? So, no? I don't know. Okay, so I'll push the block onto there. Yeah, okay. And then push over that other one. But where does that lead? I don't really care. Ah, nuts. I'm not really looking very well, am I? Okay, so let's push that over. I think I'll need to go to that rock. Yep, okay. Wait, how do I get it down? Puzzly, puzzly, puzzly. Oh, hang on. Could do this. Yeah, there we go. Let's eat you, get you out of the way. I'm not sure if the ghosts in this game have specific names, but I know they had different names in the original Ms. Pac-Man than they had in Pac-Man. Based on their color. Oh, good. Okay, yes. Okay, given saying Super Pac-Man from 1982 actually had different foods and keys and items and more power-ups and stuff. Yeah, there's so many releases that I'm not sort of abreast of all of the different revisions of Pac-Man and sequels, but that's interesting. Oh, I shouldn't even bother saving. Okay, Temple of Dots. So it's cycling through the foods that are available on that upper right star there, so you can see what's there. So it is all fruits and a pretzel, I guess. So that tells me that they are actually going to be the same from game to game, from level to level. But just that there was a pretzel that I hadn't seen before, which, you know, it's fine. It's less exciting than I thought it was, but that's okay. Note the hieroglyphics, of course. Some fun little doodles there. I do wonder how Egyptian people feel about their culture being represented in so much media, but you know, culture in modern Egypt is very, very different to what it was in ancient Egypt, I suppose, but there's got to be some continuity. Anyway, so given mention a game called Super Pac-Man, I guess I'll use that as a segue to talk about the history of Ms. Pac-Man, the original game, because it was... Oh, I forgot to close the door. You're going to hear that noise. Hold on a tick. What kind of mechanism that is, but it's noisy. Okay, so that's gotta go somewhere. Oh, it's a very long timer. Okay. I'm not sure where I need to push this actually. Oh, there. No, but I first need another block. Okay, fine. Yep, that's cool. Yeah, so at one point in its development history, this game was going to... the original Ms. Pac-Man game was going to be called Super Pac-Man. Oh, that's interesting, given saying that the Japanese release of Super Pac-Man changed the title to Mr. Pac-Man as a response to Ms. Pac-Man. Yeah. Okay, reset. So, yeah, the thing about... I'll just do the whole history. So you may have heard this before, but you might not have heard it in an Australian voice, so that's my novelty factor. So Ms. Pac-Man in the arcades, 1980 whatever, 81 I think. It was a great success. Made a lot of money for Namco and for the local distributors who would get the game and release it in other regions. So after the success of Pac-Man, Midway, who was distributing it in North America, wanted a follow-up. What's going on here? Yeah, they wanted something to sell to people as the next thing after Pac-Man. And luckily for them, there was a company who did... oh, okay, Super Pac-Man was in Japan first, that's good. Yeah, so there's a company who did conversion kits for arcade games. What are these arrows? I don't understand. I think they're just there to show you what to do, and as you pass by them, they disappear. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, some keys, please. Yeah, so conversion kits was a thing where you would take an existing hardware of arcade machine, and that's sort of the initial expensive outlay, but they're sort of modifiable. So you get this conversion kit and it'll change your arcade cabinet into something else. So if one of your games, speaking as an arcade proprietor, if one of your games is, you know, performing worse over time and you want to update it, get the new thing, instead of buying a whole new cabinet, you get this conversion kit which changes the game in some way into something else. Okay, so I push it up that way. This way. I hear that spell. Oh, I see how it does a little hook around the paths of the maze. Power pellet, please. No power pellets? Yeek. Okay. But this did appear. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there's a power pellet. Let's eat these guys. Get them out of the way. That's an interesting little puzzle setup they have there. And then, yeah, you get your rewards at the end. Alright, so what's next? What is next? Well, I've been in there. Was there... No? Okay. Yeah, so in fact, Donkey Kong Jr. was, I believe, a conversion kit for Donkey Kong itself. And it came with stickers to put over the cabinet, so you would have a new look and everything to match the game. Yeah, so there was a company that did these conversion kits that were sort of more or less unofficial, I guess you could say. The company was called, they had this really generic name, General Computer Corporation. And they got in some trouble because what they'd done was make a conversion kit for Atari's Missile Command, which was a popular game of the time. Changing it to something called, nope, I didn't write down what the conversion was called, but it was a way of updating this game, and Atari didn't like that. It was unauthorized, so they actually sued General Computer whatever. What's going on here? Oh, that's what this thing is. That's the ghost respawner. That little patch there. That's where the eyeballs are going to go back to. Oh, I see, it's over here. Okay. I could have done that before. I didn't have to go back. Going back just got me a fruit, I think. But the way to progress was in this other screen. Okay. Super missile attacks is given. Thank you. That was the conversion. That got them in trouble with Atari. So Atari sued General Computer Corporation, and as part of the terms of the suit, they were disallowed from selling any further subsequent conversion kits for any existing games. Including Atari games and other games. So they'd created a conversion kit for Pac-Man, which they called Crazy Otto. And the idea was to improve on Pac-Man. I think making it faster was one of the things. That was a popular hack or mod at the time. I'm not sure if that was included in Crazy Otto. But one thing that Crazy Otto did do was improve the AI of the ghosts and change their behavior. And it also swapped out the main character for, yeah, Crazy Otto, I guess. I don't know who that is, but anyway. Well, it's not like he existed before. Did he? Anyway, whatever. Point is, General Computer Corporation were not allowed to sell Crazy Otto because of this lawsuit. So, instead, they palmed it off to someone else. So Midway, who had the Pac-Man license, bought Crazy Otto off them and decided to turn it into an official Pac-Man sequel. And the story goes that they had the idea to swap out Pac-Man for a variation, Ms. Pac-Man, because they'd recognized that the original Pac-Man game was popular with women in arcades, unlike, you know, certain other games that were out at the time. Oops, my power pellet ran out. Well, the other thing is, even if your power pellet is still in effect, if a ghost goes back, if the eyes of the ghost go back to the respawner, and it comes out again, then it won't be blue anymore, and it'll still be able to hurt you, even if you have that pellet active. So what am I doing? Let's bounce back up here. Okay. So push this down. Nope. I guess we need to push it to that. No. Like this. Yeah, we've got to push it to that space where there's a yellow and black. Oh, no, that's not right. Got to get above it to push it. Duh. I'll never get tired of that yeah, I think. Alright, so that is a way back if you don't have enough dots to get through the door, I guess. Cool. Oops. Uh-oh. I think I'm just faster than the centipede. So we're gonna... Oh, okay. No! I'm trying to touch that TNT crate as I go past, so like this? Alright, fine. I'll take the hit, whatever. And the green skull crate is a lot like the nitro crate in Crash Bandicoot. Whoops. Excuse me, Mr. Mummy. Mr. or Ms. Mummy. I have plenty of extra lives at this point. And I haven't even needed to use a save state. I wonder when the game gets hard. We've already had some puzzles that sort of taxed me slightly. Briefly. Okay, so... please go away. Yeah, so... another factor in them making Ms. Pac-Man into a Ms. was the fact that Crazy Otto had a female counterpart in the interstitial cutscenes, apparently. I just read that, so, you know, whatever. What was interesting to me was this idea of Pac-Man appealing to a female audience as opposed to the traditionally male demographic that you would expect to go to an arcade, and that, you know, game creators and arcade owners expected. And so for them, opening up the idea of arcade games to an entirely new gender was, you know, good for business because there's an untapped market there. But it's also good for, you know, social reasons, I guess. Yeah, there's some interesting quotes from Toru Iwatani in an interview. He's the creator of Pac-Man and certain other games for Namco. He doesn't have a whole lot of credit after those original 80s games. Oh, Bobinator, how's it going? Good to see you from the HG101 Discord. He's thanking me for playing, saying this game is super underrated. That's good to know, actually. I wasn't really sure about the reception for this game. I know that Ms. Pac-Man, after her original debut, really her only starring role is this, and then there's one other like game that was released on the PC in 2001 that sort of borrows this Egyptian aesthetic and is just a maze-like game. Yeah, so it's just the maze gameplay and it's just this one aesthetic, so it seemed kind of a cheap release. This is a bit more of a big budget, high profile kind of thing. It was released on 4 different consoles. I don't think I even mentioned that yet, but yeah, and like I said, it's an interesting evolution of the Pac-Man maze formula into new areas. So yeah, the fact that it's relatively unknown. Oh, so I'm pressing some buttons that I haven't tried before because I'm a bit stuck. But so yeah, I have pressing B will zoom in the camera 3 steps, and A will, or 2 steps, 3 steps. And pressing A will zoom it out again. Oh no, it's actually continuous. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. But why would you ever not have it zoomed out all the way, I say? Yeah, so these buttons, as I discovered before, will activate things in step, even if they're part of a larger sequence. Huh. I can't figure this out. What's going on? Can this be moved? There's no reset button, so it's not a moving block issue. Of course, it's always that. I always forget about the booster after I've used it to knock something over. I can use it again after that. Let's grab some dots in case I need them. Yeah, so I'll talk more about this game a bit more. I was in the middle of like the anecdotes and stuff. Yeah, so Toru Iwatani had some interesting things to say. Because he had some other early games, GB, which is like a hybrid of pinball and video game and things like that. And so people had noticed that he wanted to, or like his, sorry, people had noticed that he had a tendency to make non-violent games. Oh, bugger. Stupid order. Yeah, the booster disappeared, so yeah, there we go. Had to get it back. Let's move on. Oh, is this the gem? Huh. I didn't realize I'd made that much progress already. Or is there a boss fight now? Stage clear. Yep, pretty good stuff. Didn't even use that red key. Continue. What? Oh, I see. Okay. So I can't progress because I didn't get enough stars. Dang. Oh, that's okay. I had no idea this was a mechanic, but okay. Interesting. Alright. Let's go for speed running. Let's try and clear this stage in 1 minute. I could do that. Yeah, I was just sort of casually playing the game. But apparently I needed to be a bit more completionist. Yeah. It can be annoying when a game requires you to complete objectives that you might consider optional. But I guess it's sort of on me for not reading the manual, maybe. Anyway, yeah, so I was talking about Toru Iwatani's comments. No, don't need to push that. This way. Yeah, so he's the creator of Pac-Man, and people had asked him, you know, why it was that he wanted to make non-violent games, and it was a response to the state of the industry at the time. He realized that a lot of games out there had violent themes, and it was also just sort of his personality and his wishes that influenced the kind of games he wanted to make, and that was games where violence isn't the main core mechanic kind of thing. I mean, I've said this before, but you can't really have, or like, the vast majority of stories are going to have conflict in some way, and you are essentially eating ghosts here. They do come back, but it's kind of, I don't think I'm going to do this in 1 minute, guys. I've gotten turned around too many times. Yeah, why was that down before? Was it timed? I don't know. I think we're well past that point now. Yeah, okay. Pause menu doesn't tell me my current time. Where was it? Down here? Oh no. Okay. Notice we don't get any Professor Pac instructions on this run through. Yeah, I'm gonna exit. There's no way I've been less than a minute, so I'll go for some of the other objectives. Maybe getting all the fruit, getting all the pellets. I can clear out 2 of those in 1 run through, and I'll just be more careful about it in future worlds, I guess. Yes, okay. Right, so I was talking about, I'm still trying to talk about Toru Iwatani. So, okay. Hang on, I had some notes to help me with this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, on top of the game not having the idea of violence at its center, he also specifically made the original Pac-Man in an attempt to appeal to women. And it was successful by all accounts in Japan and America and wherever else, I don't know. But I've got quotes from Iwatani and from Midway executives to back that up, so well done. Okay, so it's going to tell you if you've got all the dots in an area, so that's very helpful. Yeah, so on top of the non-violent thing, he also designed the protagonist to be a cute kind of mascot type character. And he also like, this is okay. So the other quote he said was that he wanted to design a game that women would enjoy as well as men. So he thought about, okay, what kinds of things do women like to do? And the image popped into his mind based on his own, prejudices. Eating desserts and food and stuff. Women love eating. So as much as that's like a weird stereotype, it informed the design of what you do in Pac-Man, just going around and eating everything. So yeah, that's kind of like odd. It makes me a little uncomfortable, but can't argue with the results, I guess. But anyway, from the perspective that Pac-Man was popular with women in a way that other games hadn't been up till that point, it was a natural idea that the protagonist for the sequel would be, female. But it's interesting to me because the game started as this unofficial conversion. It was put out by the North American distributor, not Namco. There's actually there's conflicting information that I got on how Namco exactly was involved in the process, because certain sources say that it was done entirely without their consent or permission or knowledge, and the guy at Midway who did the conversion, on the other hand, says that no, they were involved in they were consulted on the design and so forth. So whether they were or weren't is unclear, but the facts are that the actual original Ms. Pac-Man game has been pretty well ignored by Namco since then, in a lot of their compilations and stuff. It was present in a collection or two, but for the most part they leave it out and they don't even acknowledge it when it comes to lists of games in the Pac-Man series and so on, possibly because of its history in that way. It's not really a Namco product through and through, if you see what I mean. Yes, so that's interesting, I think, but I think that's the end of that thread. Yeah, it's unfortunate that Miss Pac-Man herself hasn't been that prominent in a lot of games either. She's only been playable in... Well, so there's the original game, there's this one, which got its ports, as I said. Oh, I should talk about that, but anyway. First, I'm on a roll here. There's what was that other one called? Ms. Pac-Man Quest for the Golden Maze on PC in 2001. What's wrong here? I don't have all the fruits. That's right, there's that block that I passed, but I couldn't do anything with. Let me try all my buttons. Yeah, nothing's working. There's one that brings up the HUD. Ew. Am I unable to get all the fruits as of this point? Unclear. That's kind of annoying. I won't be able to get all the stars yet, possibly, if my hunch is right. But anyway, yeah. Okay, so let's see. Ms. Pac-Man, yeah. So, Eep. Yeah, so she was one of the playable kart races in World Rally, which I played. Yeah, Gibbons found a reference to a game called Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man, asking if she's playable in that, and then finding no, that's actually a pinball machine about the wedding of Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man. Which, oh yeah, that's odd. It uses the name Mrs. in the title, but anyway. She's always been known as Ms. Pac-Man throughout her whole history, I guess, except for that instance. But yeah, nobody's really playable in that except for the flippers, I guess, which... I guess there's some pinball machines that characterize the flippers in some way as part of the world of the game, if that makes sense. Oh, no. What? Hang on. I got to the end and I didn't have all the dots. So maybe past that block, whatever it is, there's another area with more dots and more fruits. But that means I can't get all the stars at this point. That's pretty irritating, actually. I did all that. Gosh. Well, I guess I'll try one of these other levels and hope there isn't one of those block situations. Or I can try the speed run. Whew. Okay. It's really... But why is the requirement so strict? Alright, let's try it. That camera cannot keep up. So we need to speedrun, but we also need to get enough dots to progress. So since there's a lot of dots available here, I'm going to grab as many as I can before heading in there. Okay. While it's convenient to do so. Yeah, so she's had basically 3 games of her own, but she's been a playable character in a couple of other Pac-Man spin-offs, like we said. There's Pac-Man World Rally. That had a sort of sequel on smart devices. It might just be iOS. Pac-Man Kart Rally. Oh no, it's on Android too, I know, because I downloaded it onto my old Android phone. So she's not in Kart Rally. That's only got Pac-Man, a bunch of ghosts, and some Namco crossover characters like the Prince and Mr. Driller and so on. Okay. Do I need to go up that way? Maybe not. Now there's a gateway up here, 115, I believe. Alright. So that gate just goes down randomly? I don't know. So 115 is the next one. Okay. Go. Yeah, so there's a game called Pac-Party, which was on Wii and 3DS. It's like a party minigame thing. Oh, bugger. I don't need to push it all the way up. Okay, can I reset? Yes. Quick now. Just push it 1, get over there. The newer games she's sort of left out of because there was that other continuity, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures, which was a TV show that also had some game spin-offs, and she's not a character in that continuity. So she's not in those. 195, seriously. That's a lot. Come on. Okay, how long was that? That's got to be way more than a minute. Huh? The time says nothing. What? Oh, this time trials are different. Oh man. It's a different mode. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So given saying in Ghostly Adventures, the Pac-Man that is the main character of that is actually the descendant of the original Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man, and she gets referenced in flashbacks. Okay, I had no idea. That was interesting. I almost bought one of those games once because Inti Creates had done it. It was the 3DS version of the first game was different to the 3D platformer that the other ones were. It was a side-scroller that was sort of Mega Man-like in structure because that's kind of their specialty. Interesting. Well, what else is she in? Yep, so she was in Party. Actually, no, she wasn't even in Party. That's right. That's outrageous. She's sort of a background character in the Pac-Man World games, so she got into World Rally as a playable racer. But yeah, she's not in Party. I can't believe... Oh, yeah, anyway. That's dumb. So she's in a couple other racing games. Namco made the Mario Kart Arcade games, and she's in GP 1 and 2, but not DX. So she's like a guest character. They've thrown a couple of Namco characters as guests. Pac-Man's there, a ghost. The drum from Taiko no Tatsujin is in DX, and also Mamechi from Tamagotchi is in 2. And she's apparently a so Sonic Dash is a Temple Run clone for smartphones where, you know, Sonic is running straight forward and the camera's behind him and you swipe to move lanes and stuff. There was a Pac-Man cross promotion in that, and if you played during the promotion period, which is over now, you could unlock her as a playable character in that. There's a separate game called Pac-Man Dash on the, in the same kind of style, but it's based on the Ghostly Adventures, so again, she's not playable in that. So yeah, she's in Sonic Dash, but not Pac-Man Dash, strangely enough. Alright, we're going to do the time trial. It's going to be probably a different level design, I'm sure, because, okay, it's giving me a timer. Yeah, okay, so it's just running through, there's no obstacles. That's interesting. So instead of doing our little collections and stuff, we can just race through. That's good, because, like I said, there's no way I was getting through that in 1 minute. With, oh, aha, timer power-ups, this way. Okay, so yeah, time trial's a whole different thing. Ouch. Oh no, and getting hit takes away from your time. Tricky. Dare I double back for that timer? I think I must. I think I'm obligated to. Yeah, that still doesn't give me enough time though. Okay, so I gotta play this smart. Not get hit, get the timers when I see them. Okay, we can do this. It's cool. We just need to do this one, and then we can move to a new world. Ooh. Hang on, did that opening cutscene like take away from my timer? I think it did, and you can skip it. Anyway, yes, so she is playable in a couple of other games. This game has a multiplayer mode. Let me just test something. Yeah, okay, if you eat a ghost, you do get a little bit of extra time, so that can be something we try and do. Yeah, so this game has a multiplayer mode. According to Wikipedia, this mode was, and I quote, heavily criticized. So people, I guess, enjoyed, or critics enjoyed the adventure mode, but maybe not the multiplayer mode so much. 3 seconds. I don't know if it's even worth it to double back like that, considering I didn't get much time. That might be worth it. Yeah, let's go up here for this. Oh, wasn't there a clock? Yeah, here it is. That's worth it. Yeah, so there's a multiplayer mode. It is using the more maze-like gameplay, I guess, or like single screen, you know. Yeah, so it's a bunch of people on a one screen competing to eat dots and stuff. I can't judge it or comment on it, but I just know that apparently it was heavily criticized. But apparently it was, you know, full-featured enough that they wanted to bring it on to other things. Oh man, tough. This is tough. Might I be better off doing another level and trying for the collectibles? No, let's do it. Let's keep trying. It's pretty short. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna at least see World 2. Come on. So yeah, the multiplayer mode of this game supposedly formed the basis for a couple of other releases. So there's a game called Pac-Man Adventures in Time, not to be confused with the other game Pac in Time, which is a separate release. And another one called, yeah, Pac-Man All-Stars, not to be confused with All-Star by Smash Mouth, which are both on the PC. They're both just this multiplayer type mode. Gotta get this clock. I wonder if I should go up here. Is there another clock? There's no other clock. Cruel trick. Cruel, very cruel. Oh, Tony's here. Hello, Tony. Good to see you. I'm never gonna do it now. I made one mistake. This is the 64 version of Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness. Tony says it looks very HD. It must be the emulator upscaling the textures. I agree, it looks good. Let's see. What the hell did I just do? I wanted to reset my run, so I went down to the emulator button for reset, which was a really dumb idea, actually. Because I don't know when the last time I saved in-game was. Okay. So I've just loaded my save state, and it's at that point that I was at, where I have 3 stars and not 4, so that's fine. Gosh, I gotta think. Okay. Yeah, so the multiplayer mode sort of was expanded on in these 2 other releases, so they had that much faith in it at least. If I can eat something on my way over here, that'll give me a little time boost, but yeah, okay. But anyway, let's talk about this game, because I really haven't done that yet. So, it was released in 2000 for the PlayStation, developed by Namco Home Tech, which was a US-based subsidiary of Namco. I assume from the name that what they were primarily created for was doing home console conversions of Namco's popular arcade titles. But they also went on to make their own original titles like this eventually. So yeah, they made that version for the PlayStation. Nuts. That's actually, yeah, so like, I think on the 64 it is going to look better than the PlayStation anyway by default, but also through the emulator it ends up looking better as well. Anyway, yeah, so that's the original version. It was ported a little bit later, not much later, to the 64 and the Dreamcast, which were the other contemporary consoles at the time. Curses. And that was done by, let's see, we saw their logo at the start. Yeah, Mass Media, says Tony, yeah. He's saying Mass Media made a lot of interesting Namco things, and a lot of bad ones too. Like Pac-Man Fever. He's saying that was awful. I don't know what that is. Can you tell me more about Pac-Man Fever? But yeah, Tony's saying this one is good. It's one of the good ones. But yeah, this is a port that Mass Media did from, yeah, that other game. From the original PlayStation release. And then I mentioned earlier, 4 years later, it got a port to Game Boy Advance by Full Fat. I was originally going to play that version today, so you can actually see on the sidebars I put up the cover art. that's the cover art from the Game Boy Advance version. It all looks the same, like the bit of the box that tells you what console it is has been cropped out, but the art was a little more full frame on the Game Boy Advance version. But yeah, I was intending to play that, which is why I chose it. But I found that it's quite a close port in terms of content. So you're not really gaining or really losing much, but it looks a lot worse, and the sound was terrible. It was atrocious. There was horrible crackling sound, and I did eventually manage to fix that crackling sound. If you're curious, I googled around a bit for it, and people had this problem on VBA, and even submitted like bug reports to the VBA development thingy, whatever, GitHub stuff. But I found that by increasing the audio buffer size from, I think it was 1,000 samples to about 4,000, it really cleared up the audio, so it sounded fine after that. But the audio is just, again, it's like a conversion of the tunes that are in this game anyway, so they're going to sound worse even if you have fixed the awful crackling problem. Yeah, I feel like speedrunning is really beyond my skills. Anyway, so yeah, Full Fat, they did the Pac-Man World 1 and 2 ports as well, so good on them. Nuts. Wrong way. Can I rewind? No, my rewind button's not working, so I've just accidentally fast forward and now I have no chance. I'll have to use save states if I want to do that micro progress thing. So I guess I'll do that. Oh wow, okay, that was an unexpected effect. 64 emulation is not perfect, guys. Oops. Sorry, yeah, good chat here. Pac-Man Fever apparently is a crossover between Pac-Man, Tekken, Soul Calibur, and Ridge Racer, and Dig Dug, and the like. It's a Mario Party clone with a story involving the ghosts stealing a trophy or whatever. Yeah, that sounds pretty crazy. I always dig crossovers. That's my big thing. I love that. I've got some notes here about Katamari a bit later, but yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. Although Tony says it's awful, so obviously the execution could not be good. Could be bad, yeah. And Bobinator says that the Pac-Man World GBA port is real weird and kind of bad, but Pac-Man World 2 GBA is more of its own thing, so it's kind of neat. Yeah, I love that. When they have these things that are supposedly handheld ports that are actually quite different, that's really interesting and worthwhile. It's a way to make a port stand out and have some significance apart from being, you know, just a version of this game that you can play in a different format, whether it be handheld or not. So yeah, that sounds good to me. Yeah, Tony's saying there's a Tamagotchi game on 64 that's a glitchy mess on emulator. That's too bad. So I've save stated there again to try and actually I'll load that. Yeah, it does some funny things to the emulation for a little bit, but it's a small price to pay, I guess. Okay, I feel better about this run. We're doing pretty well on time compared to... Oh, yes. I even got the centipede while the power pellet was still in effect. And although I noticed earlier that the centipede took more time off me when it hit me compared to the ghosts, I didn't gain any extra time from eating it compared to ghosts. They give me 3, it gave me 3, but it'll take away 10 where they only take away 5. Anyway, yeah, 64 emulation sucks. Yeah, this is great. We're gonna make it, I'm sure. Whoops, nope. Oh, timeout, thank you. Come on, come on. What comes next? I don't remember. Okay, alright, so let's grab this, and then go down. And it's just over here, right? Yes, yes, we did it. Oh, yes. Oh, it feels good. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention it before, but I've got a new desk chair, and it's amazing. So you know, for your information, I'm going to be much more comfortable in these streams in the future. Yeah, that's good. All right, we did it. The next level. Whew. I just need a breather for a second. So it's interesting to me that there's two Mario Party clones in different eras for the Pac-Man series. There was Pac-Man Fever one and then the Pac Party. Although I don't know to what extent that's a Pac-Man, that's a Mario Party clone. Oh, okay. Let's see. So mass media, they're in the US. Full Fat's in the UK though. Oh, excuse me. Blah blah blah. That about covered a lot of my Pac-Man notes. So let's see what's happening in the next level. Good luck finding the gem of truth. So I guess that's the introduction to the fact that this is a new world and we're going to be finding a new gem here. So yeah, the gems represented different virtues. There's the gem of, there was like wisdom, truth, I don't know. It probably said it in the intro, but I wasn't paying attention. Okay, get to 60. I like this music actually. I'll probably be sick of it before long. Oops, okay, flattened by a rock, lovely. Yep, you want to watch out for that. Oh, Tony's dropped a link to the box art in the chat. I have to click this. Let me see, let me see. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's like a super deformed Heihachi Mishima and the Ridge Racer woman and some other people all running behind Pac-Man. And Ms. Pac-Man's there too. She might be playable in that one, I don't know. I overlooked that. That's interesting. But yeah, here we are in a new world. This is the ice world, so you know you've got your standard different archetypes for worlds. What's going on here? Okay, so yeah. Oh, yeah, sliding blocks, of course. Oh, she is playable. Wonderful. Oh, okay, so that's a secret thing. If you push the block there, you can jump up and get another life and a fruit. But I've become disillusioned about fruits. I suppose I should be trying to get them because they're not necessarily locked behind those blocks. I guess I'll try on the next level. This level's a bit more of a breather for me, I suppose. I will try next time. Yes. So, okay, Tony's got some good jumping off points there. I will talk about that in a minute, but first I wanted to quickly talk about Ms. Pac-Man's character design because she is widely recognized as one of the very first heroines in gaming. A character for women to, you know, more or less identify with. And there were other ones before and since in that era, but the sheer popularity of Pac-Man and yeah, the iconic nature of it, I suppose, means that she's a very prominent sort of mascot for the idea of women in gaming. But on the other hand, she's, in terms of her, you know, character design and her identity, it's maybe not the best. So what's going on in this area? That's a nice Yeti, by the way. But I can't figure out what exactly I need to do here. Because those little warps just take you from one end of the arena to the other. Eating ghosts sends them back to the hole. That ghost hole. Surely getting all the dots isn't the solution. But I'm going to try doing it anyway. Oh, right. I think coming here, the point of coming here was to get a key, and I've got her. I've got that, so let's leave. Yeah, so in terms of her character design, she is like, there's no getting around it, is that she's just Pac-Man in a bow and lipstick and eyelashes. All the cartoon signifiers of what a woman is, boiled down to these sort of regressive, like, iconography. So in a sense, she's a quite lazy and potentially harmful character design to represent women. And it's one of the things that was called out in the feminist frequency videos, which, well, you know, I apologize, but that's the video in which this was explained was also the video where I decided that okay, so it was a video about the trope of the Ms. Male character, where the female character has no identity or design of their own that's not dependent on what was already established in the male character. So it's just flipping their gender, and that's it. That's the entire character. And there were some examples of that from games. And the point where the video lost me was when she mentioned Dixie Kong as being an example of this trope. And I love Dixie Kong, and I think she's not as regressive as that. So I disagreed with that, but that's okay, you know. I can actually see her point. It's not completely out of the question to consider that. Alright, so what's going on here? I got some stuff. Now what do I do? Anyway, I guess backtrack? Maybe there was a locked block somewhere. Since I'm backtracking, I might as well grab some food. Okay, new area. Since I've backtracked, now I'm reconsidering going back and getting other stuff. Whoops. Sorry, the wrong thing was in focus, and bad stuff happened. Oops. Yep, I died. Yeah. What does that mean? It means I go back to the checkpoint, and I've lost the foods that I got, but I have full health. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so, I don't know. Miss Pac-Man. Good, bad, I don't know. Both, I think. Yeah. A mix, which is the case for a lot of things in this life. Right, so I've backtracked in order to make sure that I got everything, because I don't want to be caught out by stars again, but... Okay, so I'll do this bit. What do I need to do? Can I push this block down past the popper? Tony says he really likes her mole, at least. And yeah, you're totally right. It's a complex issue. It's completely... yeah. There's a lot to it. Yeah, that's another example. Apu from The Simpsons, also a complex issue. I don't know if I can go further back than this, but... Shall I assume that I got everything before this point? Okay, that's bad. I don't think I did, so... Well, now I'm just... Yeah, I don't think I can push a block into that space. No, I can't. That's frustrating. Alright, moving on then. Progress for now, please. Okay, so... I tried to talk about that. So yeah, let's talk about... yeah, so Milo... Sorry, Tony says, Milo, may I recommend playing Baraduke? And yes, you've stumbled on my plans for next week, because Baraduke contains another one of Namco's early heroines. Kissy from that game, which I'm not sure about that name, but well done. Okay, so I did get, yeah, there we go. It just gave me the star straight away. So I got all the fruits for this level at least. Hopefully that's enough to get me through to the next world. The fact that I got that extra star there. But we'll find out eventually, won't we? So yeah, Kissy, also known as, Tobi Masuyo, which is a pun in Japanese meaning I will jump or fly. She appears in the Mr. Driller series as Taizo Hori's wife, and later estranged wife. They actually get divorced. So she's the mother of the Mr. Driller character, and is at one point married to the Dig Dug character. There's this whole lore for that series that's really interesting. Oh yeah, okay, that was it. So I didn't get all the dots, but that's okay. I got that fruit star. Woo! Tony says the music is getting to him. Sorry about that. I could turn it down if you like. Let's turn it down a little. I'll put it back to the default that it was at when I started playing. So that's your reference point. Save state. Okay, so next level is Pac-Footicus Stompicus. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, Baraduke. There's two games in the series. There's Baraduke and then Baraduke 2. They're both arcade games. I don't think they got home conversions. But there was a fan game made for the series' 29th anniversary called Baraduke Revolution, originally known as Baraduke Remix. And yeah, all three of those are in the mix. I'm probably gonna try them all, maybe? It's supposedly a really hard game, so I will most likely play for a while, like I did with Wonder Momo. Just play for a while, die a whole bunch of times, and then like get fed up and move on to the next game, I guess. But there's 3 to work with, and yeah, I believe Kissy is she not the primary character? I don't know. I haven't done all the research yet. That's next week's game. But there's this whole thing. I think Toby, I should say. That's her name. Like Kissy is a weird nickname, I guess, in the lore of the series. But yeah, she's not in the second game, and oh, that's it. It was the partner character from the first game takes over as the main character of the second game. And she's also a lady. So yeah. That's good. But yeah, it's a series that part of the identity of that series is that you're playing as a person in a spacesuit, and then you find out over the course of the game that they take off the helmet and oh, it's a woman. It's just Metroid basically. And as Gibbon says, it does predate Metroid. So that whole thing where it's like a reveal that the fact that it's a woman. Not only was that predated by the arcade version of what's it called? What's that racing game by Nintendo where you're on a motorbike and you're like shooting a bunch of stuff? Yeah, that one. Anyway, that predates Metroid. Also, Baraduke predates Metroid. So, but Baraduke is also a space shooter type of thing. Yeah, Tony loves the lore. It's one of his favorite things. Yeah, that's right. In Bakutotsu Kijute, says Gibbon, you're playing as Taki, who is not Kissy. Yeah, I told you. Yeah, so Kissy takes that one out. Yeah, Mac Rider, that's it, Tony, thanks. Okay, lava blocks, blah, blah, blah. You can push ice blocks onto lava to cool it. Cool, huh? Yeah, good pun, dude. Leave the punning to, I don't know, comedians or dads. Ta-da! Great. Okay, save state time. Yeah. You get that weird speed up thing when you save state. I don't know why. Yeah, Mac Rider. So Mac Rider, I guess, is known for the NES port, but it was released on arcade as well. And oh, that's nasty. I don't want to go that far back. I didn't get the checkpoint. That's the problem. Yeah, so in the arcade version, they had the cutscenes where you see that the Mac Rider person is a lady. That's not in the home version. But yeah, Baraduke, that's definitely on the list. I don't want to reveal too much, but I actually struggled after that point to find good retro Soul Calibur Namco heroines. I looked up, I wonder if you could push ice blocks into each other. Yeah, you can, great, it's like a Newton's Cradle. Yeah, I looked up Namco heroines. I found some results that were like a line of figures with, yeah, game characters that were heroines from Namco games. But a lot of them were like from their fighting games, so it's not the kind of thing I would stream really, which is more mostly action games or adventure games where there's a particular protagonist who's a heroine. That's the idea. So yeah, there's plenty of characters in the Tekken series and the Soul Calibur series who are ladies, but that's not what I'm going for. There's an exception to that in that there's a spin-off to Tekken on the PS2 called, what's it called? Death by Degrees, where you just play as Nina in like a beat-em-up action game. So that's a thing, but I can't really play PS2 games, so that's out of the question. Yeah, what am I doing now? Okay, so push that one onto there, and then I can get here to go here, push that down. Ow. Someone's causing me problems here. Ow. Is it Bigfooticus Stompicus? And what are these guys supposed to be? I think they're cavemen. Ow. I shouldn't have done that. Okay. Let's see. So that's definitely the way I want to go. I'll reset this puzzle. That's the key. Oh, I see. If I do this, it pushes that on but stays there, and I can push that down. Dude, these stalactites are out of control. Cave Pack. Is that what that guy's called? Let's eat him. Actually, that's a little odd. Usually, like, you eat ghosts, but I've also eaten mummies and, like, wizards, and now I'm eating just cavemen. They're not undead. They're just primitive, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Ow. Hey, I'm doing pretty well with the fruit in this stage, actually. Oops. Okay. No problem. Yeah, I'm enjoying this game pretty well, actually. What is that? Oh, it's like a big cat. They breathe fire. Okay, they have a torch. I guess they're spitting some flammable thing through their fire. Well, what flammable thing do cavemen have knowledge of? Ooh, is that all? No, there's one more fruit. One more fruit. Okay, I can get through there. Let me just check for fruit. Oh, ah! Oh. Dude. That's okay. Had a checkpoint right there. I don't care. Keep going. This is fun. That was a good set piece.
Well done.
Well done. Cool. And I got the extra star, so yeah, we shouldn't have to worry about getting into the next world, hopefully. Alright, 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 alright. Let's see. Huh. So, Tony says, Mr. Driller Ace gets into the social political implications of the Barry Duke incidents and Dig Dug earthquakes. Wow, I didn't know it got that deep. He's also saying that Mr. Driller 2 has Anna as the second main protagonist. That's a good idea. Normally what I want to focus on is ones where the woman is the main and potentially only protagonist. But yeah, good suggestion. He's saying Susumu, who is Mr. Driller, is very feminine. Okay, not really the same thing, but okay. And Anna is implied to be a tomboy. Huh. So fun little reversal there. Cool. Oh, okay. The cave packs were in a few Pac-Man World games, according to Tony. Yeah, the Pac-Man World games are a bit of a blind spot for me. I never really played them. But there's a few opportunities to do so. They were ported to a lot of platforms. They're on PSP, even DS. I think the third one is on DS. Okay. So next level, Freezer Burn. Let's see. Yeah, because, okay, so a very prominent early Namco heroine is Valkyrie, of course. She's she had a successful series of games, but also is represented in a lot of these crossover games that I've been talking about. Like Namco versus Capcom. I talked about it last week because Momo is in some of those early ones. But yeah, even more, a lot more than Momo, the Valkyrie is prominent in those games, I believe. She's on the front and center on the cover of Namco Super Wars, and I think she's up pretty much up there in Namco versus Capcom as well. Or Namco, what is it? Namco X Capcom, I think? Yeah, whatever. Wait, what did that button do? Okay, so now I do this. Wait. Oh, okay. Ah, that's clever. And while that's still there, I'll run across. Yeah, cool. That's a good puzzle. Okay, Tony says that he would call Mr. Driller a pretty LGBT-friendly game for some reason. He says he's got his reasons for it, but yeah, he can't really articulate it, but it feels like a very gay game while playing it. Okay, that's cool. Well, I can't argue with that, as you are a gay man. Yeah, I've said before that it's not up to me to decide what representation is, if it doesn't represent me, so yeah. That's good to know. Oh, right. Sorry. Tony's not a man, he's a duck, I should say. Of course. Duck bean. And now he's asking if licensed games count if they're from Namco. I just did the same thing twice, because I'm dumb. Yeah, sure, why not? Tell me about it. I think... Actually, no, Namco-vember, because that's what month we're in, the glorious month of Namco-vember, which is totally a thing. Ooh, okay. I fell down. Yeah, in Namco-vember, I want to play games that are about Namco characters. So I would say licensed games don't count, but give me your idea anyway, I want to hear it. Yeah, that's alright. Yeah, I guess my other idea, I'll tell you, because why not, was Burning Force, which is a Space Harrier clone in arcades where you're a lady riding like a space motorbike. I was sort of saving that for when I could do a like big mega showcase of Space Harrier clones that have a female protagonist, and there's quite a few of them, but maybe I could play that one early, or maybe I could do the whole showcase during November. After all, Momo was only half of that one stream, so it would still count as Namco-vember. Alright, this is going down and then across. Okay, I'm not going to bother with food on this level because I've got that extra star twice now. Oh, Tony didn't have one in mind. He's going to Google stuff. That's good. Should make some good discussion. So yeah, like I said, I came up a little dry after I had those examples, and I've already played the Valkyrie games, so I could spend more time on the remake of Borken, but I probably won't. I'd rather try new things. This isn't going to work. Oh no. Yeah, okay. Wonderful. Oops, hang on. Oh. Damn. Nope, that was wrong. Okay. Reset, please. What's the reset? Tony says never mind. Oh, okay, the one that I put in the hole didn't reset. That's good. Okay, so this way, and then I jump onto it. This is just here for the fruit. Might as well get it. Or maybe there's individual reset buttons for each of the cubes, possibly. There we go. Sliding block puzzles. I love them. I'm not being sarcastic. Tony can't find anything good. Yeah, I couldn't either. So, yeah, that's that. Namco-vember was an impromptu thing because... well, because of the awesome pun, but also because I'd already picked Wonder Momo by coincidence. I hadn't thought of it then. And then I discovered that I was also playing some Namco games outside of streams as well. So I've just been going through Katamari, Touch My Katamari on the Vita, as well as my wife just bought Taiko no Tatsujin Switch version, and we played a bit of that together as well. So there's a lot of Namco going on in my head right now, and on top of that, yeah, the Shifty Look whole thing, of course, which I mentioned during the Momo stream, and also brought up in the Valkyrie stream. But I've just finished, reading all of those comics, and I've seen all the animations as well. I might not be able to play all the games because they've been disappeared and stuff. I might be able to try Namco High actually still. I haven't really looked into it, but I've experienced all of the Shifty Look stuff outside the games now, so I'm feeling Namco-ish. Oh, here we go. Joey B is here. Hello, Joey B. This is a good hidden gem I discovered a couple of years ago. Yeah. Same here. Well, okay, that's not true. I discovered it very, very recently. But when I found out about it, I wanted to try it. Yeah, I've never really been much into Pac-Man. But since I'm trying to experience all these games this year with the heroine characters that I want to find, yeah, Miss Pac-Man is an obvious choice. Ms. Pac-Man. So, I have been very impressed by this game. So, yeah, it's good. What is that symbol, do you think? It reminds me, it's sort of reminiscent of maybe a witch, like a witch's hat and a cloak, because a witch is the main antagonist of this game. So that might have something to do with it. Maybe after you beat the game, you get something that What's going on? I don't have the key. So how do I get the key? I've missed it somehow. Oh, it's over there. Did I jump in the lava once and miss it? Okay. So that's easy. We'll just... oh. Nope, that's not right. Oh, I wish I had a power pellet right now. Anyway, if you haven't done it already, check out the Shifty Look comics. They've all been archived online. The shows as well, they were on YouTube. They're really entertaining as well. Especially the Mappy one, because it doesn't otherwise have a comic, so it's all sort of new material. The Bravo Man one does repeat some things from the comic, but it's a lot of new stuff as well, and it's really funny. The Momo one, not so much. Like, to me, it's not as good as the other two. It's kind of similar to Bravo Man, but less tongue-in-cheek and less, you know, taking itself a little bit more seriously. So it's not as much fun in that case. Ouch. But yeah, I definitely recommend a lot of the Shifty Look comics. And I just finished the Katamari one, which is why I wanted to play the Touch My Katamari game. This looks like a really complicated room. Alright. I don't really see any way in right now. Seriously, what do I do? Here we go. That's my in, and then I step on this and wait. No? That's not the answer? Okay. But I can walk across these blocks. Don't! Okay. Well, I know what to do now. But just to rest my, I don't know, body a little, gonna catch up on chat here. Yes, Tony says Daisy Duck was also a character poorly written originally. Yeah, she's the same thing. And Minnie Mouse, it's just the exact male character, slap a bow on them kind of thing. And he says her very early appearances were very poorly written and sexist. And yeah, that could be a trap that you fall into. When your character, well, there's nothing to your character except the fact that they are girl personified. But yeah, Tony says that Katamari is another gay game. And I mean, you look at the king and his mannerisms, and yes, like he's very a flamboyant kind of Japanese gay stereotype kind of thing. But oh well, he's married to a woman and he has children, so you know that doesn't rule out the fact that he could be gay, but he represents that kind of archetype, I suppose. Tony's Shifty Look opinion, he's dropped it. The fact that the Dig Dug comic on Shifty Look takes place in the Mr. Driller universe, and he likes that, so that's his opinion on Shifty Look. Yeah, I felt that the Dig Dug comic leaned too heavily on like, oh, like this is just the one thing from the arcade game, and let's make jokes about that. It didn't do a whole heap to expand like the lore or anything, which again is the thing that I found surprising and pleasing about the overall Driller Dig Dug series, was the lore and stuff. And yeah, in Gibbon's words, Katamari has Freddie Mercury as God. Yeah, so the king of all cosmos is, yeah, he's very much that type. Yeah. So Gibbon's suggestion was to drop down here and then shove the TNT, which then will let me push this. Ah, okay. Then I can push this. Yes. And that gets me back here, so let's reset. Oh. 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 Okay. So, the next thing I could do is... I'm sure that walking on these blocks is the key to something. Oh, maybe not. Oh, I know what to do next. I can do this. Oh! No! Oh, it reset everything. Dang. Oh, right. They actually confirmed that the King of All Cosmos is modeled on Freddie Mercury specifically. That's pretty interesting. That's canon. Alright, so before I push those blocks, I want to go back around, reset the TNT, and blow up the other thing. And then I can do it all in one go. So go here, push this down. Okay. Now I can go... Oh, now I can start pushing these blocks, so I'll save state here. Okay. Oh, yes, okay. 2 blocks every time, remember this. Okay, good. So that's that one done. And then I'll do the other one and then I can reset everything. Yeah, so I've been reflecting on Katamari as I play Touch My Katamari. And it's just so fun. Like, it's such a great formula that really works. Which is kind of why with every new game they don't really change anything and they just... Like, every game has just tons of recycled content. But that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world because the core gameplay is just so satisfying. Like, they're onto a good thing, so they're really afraid to change it, I guess. Okay. Oh, okay, so now I reset again. I'll save so I don't fall in the lava by accident and lose all my progress. So we'll reset and then get rid of this again. And then we push this into the middle and then this down. Ta-da! Puzzle solved. Checkpoint. Oh, it's the gem already. Great. Cool. Nice big skull. Very eerie. Good stuff. Oh no. Okay. So I do in fact need more stars. That's a kick in the face. So I guess I'll do the time trial for one with a short limit. So probably this one. Before I do that, I'll catch up on chat. Oh yeah, there's some stuff going on here. Okay. There's a comic where Daisy Duck tries to fix Donald's flat tire by poking holes in all the tires to make them flat. Haha, get it? Women are bad at cars or something. Tony says Carbox wrote good comics, but he sure sucked at writing women and was casually racist. Don Rosa also sucked at writing women. So Tony mentions the King's canon voice. The King of All Cosmos has a voice. I believe he's supposed to be singing some of the songs that you hear in the game, but normally his words come out as a record scratch. I noticed that this game had the same kind of mumbles thing, the same way that Banjo-Kazooie does. When characters speak, they're going ruh, 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 when they're talking. So Professor Pac had that earlier, I noticed. But for the King, it's a record scratching sound. But so I don't know exactly what this voice clip you're referring to is, but I can only imagine that his voice is amazing. And yeah, Tony's issue with Katamari is that a lot of the later games rehash a lot of the same stuff, and I agree, I've had that problem too. Katamari Forever was a compilation of stages that worked And I think that like basically every game is a compilation of stages, but for Forever that was definitely the point, was to present old stages in a way that worked in the narrative. And yeah, the comment from Tony on Touch My Katamari is that it has a meta plot that Katamari isn't interesting anymore, but then they just rehash the content again, which seems ironic, I think. What's time? Oh, we're almost done here. I guess we'll at least try and get to the next thing to see what the next world archetype is, but I probably won't get very far in it. Okay, so gonna beat this level in a minute, more or less. Let's see if I remember the layout. Okay, it's this one. And damage will cause loss of time. Oh, what do I do here? Okay, so push that one down. Yep, okay, got it. Oh, hold on. No. Oh boy. Oh, I should have seen if there was a timer up there or something. This isn't going well. Oh, and now I've trapped myself. Yeah, so this was a bust, huh? Yep. Yeah, Gibbon says he liked the PSP Katamari because it was your classic formula of scaled down handheld counterpart. The 360 one was just Katamari but with bigger worlds and better graphics, and after that it was more of the same. He blames the stagnation in the series on the original creator having moved on to Nobi Nobi Boy and not being involved in Katamari anymore. Yeah, that's definitely part of it. I think the first two had his involvement, and they were, yeah, like the second one builds on the first one, but after that sort of gone in circles. Tony thinks it got too much when it became rolling literal universes, whereas I think that's the natural extension of it and a fun thing. Like, I love that part of the game, but you know, to each their own. So yes, so an interesting thing about Touch My Katamari is that it has DLC and microtransactions. So, ew, like, how does that work in a Katamari game exactly? Well, what they do is they gave out free DLC of levels. So you download them and you will have access, asterisk, to a new level in the game. And there's 9 in total. The only thing is, to actually play the level, you need to spend an in-game premium currency to do it. And there's 2 ways to get it, either paying real money on the store to get a bunch of them, or you can also get it randomly in levels, but like really rarely. So maybe 10% of the time or less, this currency, which is like a person with a love heart for a head called a fan damacy, will appear in a stage, and they'll tell you when the stage starts. So what you do to get these things is start a stage. The best one to do it on, incidentally, is the diet stage on Eternal mode, which you can buy in the mode store after you beat the story mode. You start the level. If the king has an extra message about there being a fan damacy, you go get it. If not, you quit back to the menu, you start again. So you sit through a few loading screens every time, and it's basically grinding, and it's really tedious and annoying that you have to do it. And because through my whole playthrough of the game and my grinding, I got enough to buy 2 levels, and I picked the 2 that I wanted, which in this case were the Pac-Man one and the final one, which is probably the best value, the final one, because it like starts you really small, and then you go through stages to get to really big, to the point where you're at that point where you're rolling up planets and things, which otherwise was missing from the game, which apparently people complained about. But yeah, the Great Journey, that's definitely value. Number 8, Athlete's Abyss is probably the next best thing in terms of new content, but there is a Pac-Man level in it, and that's what I've wanted to get to this whole time. Yeah, you can farm the fan Katamari things, but it's annoying and it is tedious, I will say. Oh, nice. Yeah, Gibbon's got an old NV gaming phone with the mobile JME Katamari game on it. That's great. I would love that. It's a very simplistic, you know, cut down version of Katamari, but that's just fun. Yeah, by the way, I recommend Slowbro, Sloobro, who's a YouTuber who has playthroughs of basically every Katamari game, including the mobile ones that have been discontinued, even the Katamari Online, which is a Korean MMO of Katamari. Like, apparently with everything to succeed in Korea, you have to convert it into an MMO, and I don't know how that works in practice, but it even has new characters introduced to it and stuff. But anyway, so Gem of Wisdom in the next place, which is it's the Oriental area. You know, not that we're supposed to say that word anymore, but it seems to be the intention here. It's the Chinese themed. So it's a rotating gate. Okay. That's funny. I tried to invent a four-sided gate, but I could not figure out how to get into it. Oh, you silly man. Right, so... Oh, that's just a lantern. Yeah, so here we are in Pac-land, China. Yeah, so there is this Katamari... there is a Pac-Man level in this Katamari game. It's hard to say whether... Because the fan Damacy is such a limited resource, I don't really think it's worth getting the Pac-Man level, because there's less content to it than other ones, but... Oops, no, that's not... I have to push that down. But it's pretty fun. You start off, of course, rolling up pack dots in a maze, and then you get big enough to start rolling up the walls of the maze, and you find that you're inside a larger maze, and that's pretty interesting. And it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's not the first time that there's been a Katamari game with a Pac-Man level, because Katamari Amore, which was released on iPhone, also had such a thing as that thing that I just said. How do I reset this? Ow. Don't walk through sparklers when they're sparkling. Oh, it was at the end of it. Yeah, okay, fine. I had to walk through to get... Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Katamari Amore also had DLC, but it was all paid. It actually had other Namco properties included in the DLC as like gimmicky levels. So there was a Tekken one where you're rolling up Kuma, the bear, who is in ball form, and you have to get him to eat a bunch of stuff to get bigger so he can fight Heihachi. There was a Gallagher level where you don't shoot, but when a ship comes towards you, you roll it up with your Katamari. So yeah, there were all these fun things. They came in DLC packs though, and they were pretty expensive. So, and it's all, you know, it's all gone now. It's all off the store. You can't get it anymore. Oops. Okay, better be quick about this. Nope. But yeah, there's playthroughs of all these levels on that Sloobro channel that I mentioned, if you're interested. I watched the video on the Pac-Man level, but I don't remember if it was the same as the one in Touch My Katamari. Oh man. Now I feel terrible. I was supposed to be the repository of information. Anyway, whatever. But yeah, if we're talking about Pac-Man levels in Katamari games, better than either of those is a Katamari clone called The Wonderful End of the World, which I know because it was one of the demos available on Steam when I was looking for free games in my younger days. So yeah, that's available on Steam. It's a really fun game. It's a pretty blatant Katamari clone, like really quite blatant. But instead of rolling something up, you're like a little golem or homunculus in a humanoid form. So you're just walking around instead of rolling a ball. But it's exactly the same, like absorbing stuff. But yeah, the second level in that, which was available in the demo, is an arcade. I think it's called Arcadia. And yeah, it's a really fun thing because it's a pastiche of all these classic arcade games. You start in a Pac-Man maze, and as you absorb parts of the maze and dots and stuff, you find out that, you know, much like the Touch My Katamari level, you're inside an even larger maze. Oh, I have to get another iteration of that key, it seems. But yeah, as you get bigger, it's not just Pac-Man. You find that there's also a big Pong game in there, and at one end of the maze, there's a bunch of light cycles from Tron speeding around, and some cars like in Frogger and all this stuff. And it's, you know, legally distinct, I'm sure, but yeah, it's really fun kind of mashup of all these arcade things into one level. So what's going on here? Oh, I'm on a ship. That's nice. That's cool. So yeah, I definitely recommend that, and there's full playthroughs of that on this guy's channel as well. He covers Katamari clones as well as he or she, as well as all the official games. So great resource, that. Okay, let's push this all the way up. Yeah. Oh. Is that all just for repair? I guess so. Okay, but I got a key at one point, so now I can backtrack. Oh, but there was a red block too. Maybe that one is just another fruit. Let's go use our blue key. Okay, so that'll get us to a gate. Ah! Ah! I accidentally let the ghost into the gate. Yikes. Alright. Nope. Out. So I don't know why these ghosts are carrying barrels. It doesn't seem to really affect their behavior. I guess it's just for aesthetics, because the ghosts in the first level had, like, pharaoh headdresses. I don't remember the ghosts being different in the ice levels. Because we had the cave packs or whatever, but they weren't just basic ghosts. They had different behavior. Why is the pretzel a fruit? Yeah, that's a really good question. I was asking that too. It just is. I don't know. I don't think there was a pretzel in the original game. There was a key. Now I'm thinking of the different things Pac-Man can throw in Smash 4. I don't remember most of them. I know one of them is Mappy. Okay. Yeah, that's right. So in Touch My Katamari, in the Pac-Man level, the ghosts and Pac-Man, you eventually find Pac-Man in the level, but they're all just people in costumes. it's not the real thing, and they comment on that at the end of the level. The king comments on that to you. Yeah, if you want to relive Katamari Amore, since you can't really play it anymore unless you have an older device and had already bought it, then yeah, check out that channel. There's playthrough videos of all the levels. Ah, the end of it. Good. I think that might be the stopping point, but yeah. Okay, so the pretzel is in the original Ms. Pac-Man, according to Tony. Thank you for the information. Year of the Pac. Yeah, okay. It's a Chinese zodiac pun. Pac Ping Harbor. I don't know if that's racist. Let's see. So I guess I'm done. I've pretty much got through all my notes. And yeah, I like Ms. Pac-Man. It's good that she got this game to her own in this era that was outside her original 1981 game, or 82 or whatever it is. But yeah, she hasn't had a whole lot since then, so that's too bad. I guess her most recent thing is Sonic Dash. Yeah, and I talked a bit about Katamari, so that's cool. Yeah, so I guess that's it. Thanks for joining me. I'm not going to get to the end, unfortunately, but there are other places on the internet you can go if you want to see the ending. But yeah, I enjoyed this game. Like I said at the start, it's really cool how they expand the maze gameplay and modernize it in different ways, and yeah, make an adventure out of it. So yeah, I had fun. Hope you did too, and thanks for joining me. And I'll see you next week for more Namco-vember. We're gonna have some more Namco heroines. It's probably Baraduke. I mentioned it earlier, so there's your spoiler. But yeah, see you then. Bye bye.